Syria said the same thing 2 weeks ago and the country continues to spiral toward an all-out civil war. Amateur video here of people running for their lives amid intense shelling from Syrian government troops. Of course, we can't confirm any of this. We're not there. They won't let us there. Today, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton told a group of world leaders in Turkey that the Syrian government must go. As the former U.S. Secretary General, I should say UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, prepares another peace proposal. With us now, former intelligence officer for the Secretary of Defense, Mike Barrett, is here. He's also a director of strategy for the White House Homeland Security Council and is now the CEO of the security consulting firm Diligent Innovations. What do you make of this?
Well, I tell you, Shep, it's it's a real challenge right now about what to do in Syria. So you've got one crowd, kind of the administration side of things, with Secretary Clinton out there, who really wants to figure out a way to get involved. And then on the conservative side, you've got two factions. One side led primarily by John McCain, who really wants to just intervene. They really want to, see this end in a military thing, sort of like Libya, where we go in.
We've heard
and we go on to one side. Exactly. But there is another part of the Conservative Party. There's the Henry Kissinger, kind of Brent Scowcroft wing, what we would consider the traditional realist. And frankly, I'm hoping that they're gaining a little bit of weight in this debate that's ongoing, because there really is no good outcome here in Syria. We don't know who the rebels are. And if we go through that situation where we arm them, where are we going to be in 10 years? That's what we did in the 80s, and it seemed like a great idea to help the, the militants in Afghanistan. And then we ended up in a situation where that eventually became the Taliban, which eventually aided and abetted al-Qaeda.
Meantime, thousands and thousands and thousands of people, lots of women and children, are dying. And this is shaping up, to many observers' eyes, to be very similar to what Bosnia was for a past president.
It is, and of course that's what's interesting about having Hillary Clinton there, because it was during her husband's administration that we went into Bosnia and Kosovo, and they tend to consider that, they tend to look at that as a dirty, messy situation, but they're glad they intervened. Now, I'm a foreign policy realist, and when I look at it, I see a dirty, messy situation, a lot of money, some American lives, some allied lives, and not any kind of a clear outcome that really benefited us in a national security sense. So I think that, again, is where you get into this. Is it worth getting involved, and then you hope that, like Bosnia or Kosovo, it's a reasonably small thing and we get out of it? Remember, before we went into Iraq, a lot of people were saying this is going to be a 3-week mission, and we ended up there for nearly a decade.
Of course, if every time he kills some more people, this time it's 80 women and children, next time it's 150, the next time it's 800, each time the message is, sure, go ahead. Eventually you can kill everybody who wants to kill you, and that's that.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the one hand. The other hand is, as soon as the power balance shifts and the other side comes into power, the odds are, just like we saw in Iraq for 4 or 5 years, you're going to have just a bloodbath on the other side. So if you take the weapons and the power from one group, you give them to the other side, it's not like they're going to be acting by the rules of, sort of Western sort of niceness of societies, where people are not going to engage in conflict, and they're going to go by, kind of the Marquis of Queensberry rules for boxing. I mean, this is going to be a bloody, bloody civil war. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but this is what happened in our country, a couple hundred years ago. You've got to have that, you've got to have those fights to figure out who's going to be in control and what are the things that the country's going to stand for in the future. And I think that's what we're seeing in Syria. The question is, do we want to pick sides? And do we want to pick sides within what is really ultimately a Sunni-Shia schism? So within the religion of Islam, do we want to try to pick one side over the other? Or, as painful as it is, do we stand by and let them kind of figure it out on their own?
It is mighty sad. Mike Barrett, always good to hear from you. Thank you.
Thanks, Shep.
All right. Well, more good news for your 401k at least.